Oh, it is raining outside. Linda had a rough night, and I had a rough night last night. And then I got up, and I had to. I took a bath this morning rather than going back to bed. I ended up carrying some medicine over to my son Chris. My grandson David has a fever, high fever, and Chris needed help getting the fever down, which that's what papas and nanas do. They help with that stuff. About 3 weeks ago, I tripped over something and took a real hard fall between the kitchen and the parlor and little ante room. And I have not really recovered real well. And then here a few nights ago, I rolled out of my bed and fell down. Next to my bed, I have a lock box and ammo boxes. And I hit my back on one of the lock boxes. It's a big one. And I've not recovered from that. So I'm not doing real well. Turned the heat off yesterday. It wasn't supposed to get real cold. Well, I just turned it back on. It's fairly chilly inside here. It's raining. I'm going to have to go get children from school here in a little bit. And I'm probably going to have to go get Brandon from work. He gets off work earlier than Nick does. Always something going on. One thing I did this morning, which was interesting, I did all my normal stuff I do in the mornings on my laptop. And I've always been curious about something. And I have held an empty ostrich eggshell. They're huge. They're like that, the eggs are. But I've never eaten ostrich egg, and I've never held one that had the egg still in it, the yolk and egg whites. And people do eat them, and in the Middle East and in the Far East and in Africa, ostrich eggs are a food item, so are ostriches. Years ago, and I'll get back to the story about what I watched this morning, but years ago, you had like 7 lawyers that ended up owning Arbuckle Wilderness. And they had, I don't know how they ended up doing it. I think it was a default thing or something like that. But these attorneys ended up being the owners of the park. And they had an overabundance of animals. Hang on, different color to blow my nose on today is in my pocket. Excuse me. It was amazing that the park functioned at all. It really was. But I remember we were living down in a Darty, Dougherty, but it's pronounced Darty. Gotta get a sip. When all that was taking place, and I just remembered while I was getting ready to tell you about what I watched on YouTube this morning. But I was in my old Ford E100 van, Econoline van. It was E150. Named her Tessie May after my 8th grade math teacher. But anyway, it was myself and one of the boys were in that van, and we were driving south of Darty on Big Canyon Road for some reason, and we got going down through there, and suddenly there's like 11 ostriches just hoofing it. I mean, they're just, yeah, they're running as fast as they can. It's kind of like that emu on the commercial, Limu, the emu, but they were, I don't know how fast they were going. I didn't look at my speedometer, but they were flat getting it. And they veered off and they went up in the mountains. And then years later, I'm up there, we did a billboard for a friend of mine. And I looked up under a tree, and there's this ostrich up there sitting down. It gets up and it runs off. And I've oft-time wondered if the Arbuckle Mountains have a herd of wild ostriches up in there. I don't know. They never were recaptured. There's several things that have gotten out of Arbuckle Wilderness, including 3 tigers that they only recovered 2 of them. And I've heard there's a tiger up in there somewhere. And there's, they had a couple of alligators get loose and go into the Ouachita River, Washita River, and swim down it. They had a couple of miniature hippopotamuses get loose. I don't know if they ever got them back or not. And I'm not even going to talk about all the exotic deer that the guys that owned it let loose because they couldn't feed them. You know, it takes an inordinate amount of money to keep exotic animals fed and taken care of. And that's why the Greater Wynnewood Exotic Animal Zoo, GW Zoo, that's why they closed down. It wasn't just the lawsuit that Carol Baskin filed against Joe. And there was a lot more to it than that. I mean, it's expensive. And I wouldn't do it. I don't think I'd, even if I studied as hard as I could and I had a bucket load of cash, I still wouldn't do it. It's just too involved. But anyway, I was curious. It's one of those deals where late at night, excuse me, you'll wonder about stuff. And I went to sleep wondering about this, and this will show you how messed up my brain is. I was wondering if you could fry an ostrich egg, you know, like a regular egg. How do you flip the thing over? You know? I mean, so I only found one place, and it was a restaurant in Taiwan. And they had this crate with cubby holes for ostrich eggs, and they had 3 or 4 ostrich eggs there. And they get this ostrich egg and get it out. They take a towel, they put it in a mortar, a stone bowl, mortar and pestle bowl, with a towel around the egg, and they take a punch, and they punch holes around the top of this thing. Then he takes his chef's knife, or she did. I never saw if it was a man or a woman doing the cooking, but chips around and gets a cap off of that egg. Then they pick it up out of there. But what they did was kind of unusual. They had one wok, or one skillet, and then they had a wok. The skillet they put oil in on they turned the heat on a gas stove, and got the oil good and hot. And then they had a small wok that they had oil in it on another burner. So the chef, cook, whatever you want to call him or her, they pick this ostrich egg up with the cap off, and they take and they pour the egg into a bowl. Then they take the bowl and they pour it into the skillet with oil in it, and it starts frying. I thought, okay, how are they going to get that ostrich egg and flip it over? Well, they never did. What they did was the other small pot, the other wok shaped, like that, they took a ladle and reached down there and got hot bubbling oil and poured it on top of the ostrich egg to cook the top of it. Now, there is a method that most chefs use, and I've used it, to make an over easy egg without having to flip it. And what that is, you put the egg in a skillet, you have a lid that fits the skillet. I like one that you can see through. And when the egg is cooking pretty well, you take a spritzer, a spray ball, and spray some water on top of it and close it, and it will cook the top of that egg too. I figured I'd come out and do this vlog. I like to keep up with family and friends on here. And then I'm going to have to go in the house and see what's going on in there. I've been gone for about an hour. Let me get this. I'm strangling myself. Benjamin was out burning stuff in his yard. Now he's working on his car. Got it running. Bitty boy's Tigger's helping Daddy. And I'm getting ready to go in the house, I think. Whew. I did not get enough sleep. I didn't get to sleep in this morning like I was going to. I got to bed about 1 o'clock, I think. I'm not sure. Any of you watching this, just don't ever get old. I tell you what, it's not fun. I'm not going to be working out here in the office today. I'm actually feeling pretty bad. I didn't get anything done on Adventure's site. Didn't start it. I need to reshoot some stuff. I want to make sure when I do launch it, it's going to be at least fun to look at. And I've had some issues with my health and with Linda's health. And bless her heart, I don't know how she puts up with me. I'm just glad she does. I've got so much to do out here, and Nick asked me, well, are you and Mom's health getting any better? No, our health is not getting any better. You got to understand something. We're old, and it's not the age as much as it is the mileage that's on us. My wife's 68 years old, and she's still doing raising kids, dealing with kids. And yesterday she just had one of those days where she wasn't up to watching them, and I don't think she's going to be able to today either. And she shouldn't have to, just to be blunt about it. But when you have sons who end up with their children, I don't even want to go there. and I'm not going to redo this vlog. I'm not going to finish what I was getting ready to say. It was rude. I don't need to be rude on here. I need to be kind on here. It's 1:11 in the afternoon, so I'm going to have to wrap this up and go in the house. But all of you watching this old fat crippled old man loves you. I do. Gotta go. Love all of you. God bless you. Be kind. Bye.